A Fox 8 investigation uncovers two Gretna-based state judges spend $48,000 of taxpayer money to travel and stay in resorts.
Chris Joseph reports a state representative wants to see tighter conference spending limits.
Trips to popular destinations like Napa, Hawaii, and the Dominican Republic, taken by local judges, but all paid for with taxpayer money.
That's ridiculous.
Oh my God, that's not correct.
While the judges took these trips legally, the travel now raises questions about whether those trips and stays at luxury accommodations were necessary.
And that's for a conference?
It's for a conference.
Must be nice. Yeah.
State records for the Fifth Circuit Appeals Court in Gretna show two judges used the judicial reimbursement system to catch flights and expense receipts, all for trips to continuing education conferences. In this official photograph of all the 8 judges posted on the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals website, you can see Judge Jude Gravois on the bottom row to the right and Judge Mark Johnson on the top row to the left.
Those two judges apparently have a greater appetite for exotic travel than the rest of the court.
Rafael Goyeneche is a watchdog and the president of the Metropolitan Crime Commission. We showed him records which reveal since July of 2021, Judge Johnson took publicly funded trips to conferences in Hawaii, Jamaica, and the Dominican Republic. Meanwhile, his Fifth Circuit colleague, Judge Gravois, went to Napa, Sandestin, and New York City. Records show the court reimbursed the two judges $48,000 for travel to conferences and meetings, with Gravois spending more than $26,000 and Johnson $22,000. Meanwhile, for the same time period, the court reimbursed the other 8 judges on the bench $47,000 combined. Supreme Court rules require judges to earn 12.5 hours a year of continuing education. 5 of those hours must come from attending a Louisiana Judicial College seminar. If the judge is elected and is 65 or older, only the Judicial College credit is needed. The college's website offers on-demand training for credit hours, as well as a calendar of training opportunities closer to home, like in New Orleans.
Is there any argument to be made that it brings benefits to the community to travel abroad for these CLE conferences or these continuing education conferences?
Now, if there was, it would be built into the rules. So these rules don't require that you travel out of state, don't require that you go to Napa.
In March 2022, Gravois attended and taught at a conference in Napa, asking taxpayers for nearly $4,200. He was paid at least $3,500. Not counting the session Gravois taught, he could have earned 12 continuing education hours during that Napa trip. The next month, reimbursement records show he attended a Judicial College seminar in New Orleans for just $88. That offered more than 6 hours of Judicial College credit. Combine that with the Napa trip, if he attended all the possible sessions, Judge Gravois could have earned more than 18 hours. We know Gravois is more than 70 years old. Remember, judges over 65 are only required to get 5 hours of Judicial College credit. But that June, he charged the court another $4,000 for another Judicial College seminar, this time in Sandestin. Almost $3,000 helped pay for his stay at a beach home named My Beach Alibi. The home's website says it sleeps 22 people with access to the beach. The court reimbursed Judge Gravois the maximum daily rate allowed by the state Supreme Court for the trip, $425 a night. Meanwhile, the classes were held at the Sandestin Golf and Beach Resort. In a letter, the Supreme Court's judicial administrator acknowledged the pandemic limited housing options for that conference. While we couldn't find the cost or availability of the resort rooms for the year Gravois attended, the resort hosted the conference again the next year, in 2023, and only charged $364 a night for a room. Remember, the court reimbursed Gravois $425 a night the year before.
Jeez.
Months later, Judge Mark Johnson expensed an average of nearly $600 a night for his stay at the couple's resorts Jamaica. Records show he flew to Jamaica in October 2022 with a guest. Johnson booked the veranda suite.
Well, I don't see how they can expense the fallen in love again package.
In 2023, State Representative Jerome Zerang unsuccessfully pushed for the Louisiana judiciary to adopt federal standards on how much judges can expense for lodging and meals. If Judge Johnson's Jamaica trip had taken place under a federal rate, the maximum reimbursement for the lodging could have been $211 a day. Judge Johnson's trip to Jamaica cost taxpayers more than $2,500. Remember, he got reimbursed nearly $600 a night.
You can see how it provides some element of distrust on the fact of the public when they see this and say, well, you see that it's just, politicians taking advantage of the process.
The Fifth Circuit does impose a $5,000 cap per year on conference travel for its judges as part of a $40,000 budget for the whole court, which includes 8 judges. The court clerk says the cap went into effect in April 2023, but has been informally followed since 2013. Court records show both Gravois and Johnson repeatedly spent more than $5,000 the last 3 years. The court clerk says judges can spend more than $5,000 if the rest of the court signs off.
$5,000 per judge, $40,000 for the entire court is very, very generous. And I don't see a need why that threshold needs to be exceeded for any judge going forward.
We asked for records showing the rest of the court's approval for Gravois and Johnson exceeding that $5,000 cap, but the clerk says those records are not public.
If they're paid for with public dollars, they should be public records.
Judges Johnson and Gravois both declined an interview, saying they followed all state laws and Supreme Court rules for their travel. Zerang didn't propose a federal cap this legislative session. He says other lawmakers aren't eager to take on the courts, but he's not going to drop the issue.
And I can assure you I have 2 more years in my term, and my intent is just to work on this issue and try to address it before I'm out.
Until there's a change, judges will continue to get enough financial runway to travel to vacation destinations paid for by taxpayers.
Yeah, I'd like an education like that.
In New Orleans, Chris Joseph, Fox 8, Local First.